You know, the interesting thing about Superman Returns...
I'm ready.
...is that we're actually Superman returning in the CW version of Superman, bringing back this version of Superman. Or is it?
Maybe. Could be a parallel universe version of that Superman,
Yes.
who looks quite similar.
Of course, we are talking about today for Caravan of Garbage, Superman Returns, the 2006 blockbuster?
I don't know. You would have that information there, right? Did it do well?
It did okay. Not enough to
great.
warrant a sequel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll talk about it and kind of the plans for the sequel later on in the video.
Was the sequel going to contain anything interesting?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh my goodness, what a twist.
Anyways, if you do want to hear any of that, you have to leave a like. That's how it works. Otherwise, it won't play for you. We're sorry. We don't make the rules. It's just the way YouTube works now. They changed it.
It's so weird.
I guess the interesting thing about Superman Returns is it's a quasi-sequel to the Chris Reeve films from the 70s and 80s.
But not all of them?
But not all of them. Only the first two, and also only some elements of those movies.
Right, gotcha.
But for all intents and purposes, Mason,
yes.
it's the Chris Reeve Superman.
Yeah, and look, when this movie came out, I saw it at cinemas, and I did not care for it. But this time around, I appreciate that it's actually a very loving homage to those original Christopher Reeve movies.
Yes.
And that, you know, Christopher Reeve was this beloved actor. I still don't think it's a good movie.
Well, I did like it when it came out, but I know, acknowledging that it has a lot of flaws, but watching it again, it's a grind, man. Like, it's
Right?
tough to get through, but the Brandon Routh Superman is good. He is good. He looks good. He's got the Clark Kent mannerisms down pat. The Superman, like the inflections in his voice, all of that stuff works. Pretty much everything else around that.
Yeah.
I mean, putting aside also that this movie was directed by a sex criminal.
Yeah, that's
allegedly.
A bit of a downer.
Yeah. And it's strange because even though it is technically the same universe, it doesn't feel like the same city. It's this weird sepia-toned 1930s, 40s New York kind of look.
It's kind of...
Slash also 2006.
It kind of feels like a combination of the old Superman movies and like a Batman the Animated Series, where it's sort of this atemporal universe where is it the modern day or is it the past? It's not a real world, and so in animation that kind of works.
Yes.
But maybe in live action it's hard to connect with these people because you go, oh, well, they live in a bottle city, not unlike the bottle city of Kandor.
Very good. That's a great reference.
But also sepia-toned and boring, and everyone's sad all the time.
So the story picks up, it's supposed to be 5 years after he disappeared. He doesn't tell Lois that he's going, he just does.
Doesn't he wipe her memory at the end of Superman 2?
Well, it's odd because they must have, I guess, slept together after he wiped her memory, or she had Superman's kid and has no idea how that happened.
Yeah, it's really weird when you think about it.
It's really weird when you think about it. But there also are a couple of things that I don't like about this version of Superman. The suit is, I feel, too overly designed in parts. It doesn't quite come together for me. The S's on the back of the boots, the kind of the leatherish cape, the kind of muted red of it all.
What would you prefer? Closer to the Christopher Reeve version or closer to the Henry Cavill version?
Like a modern update of the Chris Reeve version with those kind of colors.
Underpants or no underpants?
Underpants on the outside.
So 2 sets of underpants.
I think it breaks up.
I think it's so, but I think you can do that just as well with the belt.
Yeah.
Because, you know, comic book Iron Man.
He's got metal
he had
underpants.
he had the metal underpants for a long time, but then you sort of make it more of a bike short situation.
Yeah, definitely.
A bit longer,
you
you
can
know?
do it with some lines and whatever. And
some
people
lines.
have done that. The other thing is he's a weird creep because he's just going to Lois's house and just looking in and being like, what's going on here? I'm sad, so I'm just going to look at this woman.
Right. I'm going to look at this woman, then I'm going to try and break into her email later. I think the number one clue that this is in some sort of atemporal parallel universe is when they try to break into Lois Lane's email, and there's a little animated Lois Lane going like, like Nedry in Jurassic Park, like, you can't break into my email. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, odd. But when he's being Superman, and I'm talking about doing Superman stuff, the plane catch is incredible.
Yeah.
And I like that it's not just, he just catches it out of midair, because it's spinning out of control.
Yeah,
he has to
right.
take the wings off and slowly kind of break it down and then, you know, gently lay it on the ground in the stadium. That being said, I think he landed in the stadium on purpose.
Oh, yeah, just get a little bit of cred. Let the people know that he's out there, you know, then he's still an influencer.
Also, do you not want to move it? Do you not want to move it? They were just playing baseball.
Right? What, are they going to play baseball around this jetliner? Also, again, it's kind of, you know, it's this homage to a previous Superman movie, and it's an update, and it looks great, and it's maybe what they would have done in the late 70s if they had the technology available. But it's not a new thing.
Yeah.
It's retreading old ground in a kind of technically new way, which
Yeah.
I don't think I never found very interesting.
Because also, the stuff that he does as Superman, it's way too brief. There is a moment when the city's kind of exploding at the end and he's using his powers to kind of problem solve his way through it. He's not just knocking down buildings, like he's taking care of the glass that's falling down by incinerating it. And then there's, of course, the moment where he takes a bullet to the eye.
Yeah.
Which is a new thing, but the problem is they put it in the trailer, and there's nothing better than that in this movie.
Yeah, they put it in the trailer, and they also, in the movie, they put it right after he's survived about 1,000 bullets from a really big machine gun.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. I know you love a minigun minute.
Yep.
How does it rank?
It's got 8 barrels as opposed to the minigun's classic 6 barrels.
So it doesn't count.
Yeah, I feel like they made it just for the, like they built it from scratch just for the movie. It doesn't feel authentic to me. This weird parallel universe
But
where
it's not
miniguns have 8.
a big winch. That
It
they
is not a
must
big
have-
winch, right?
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
I don't know how they did it.
I don't know.
Maybe it was always on the roof.
Yep.
They got it installed, but the building was made.
Yeah, to protect against Superman.
That's right, yeah. Lois Lane has copped a bit of flack in this because she's not Margot Kidder. That being
She's
said,
a different actor who I tried to remember the name of
Kate
many
Bosworth.
times. Kate Bosworth, and I could never pull it.
I think she's fine. Honestly, I don't think she's that bad, but what I don't think is good in this is the interpretation of Lex Luthor. Putting aside the weird Kevin Spacey stuff, I guess his performance is Gene Hackman-esque.
Right.
But that version does not fly in the movie this is trying to be. You've talked about this before. He's a fucking dummy.
The initial scene we see with Lex Luthor is a scene in which he spent 5 years, while he was in prison, he got into some sort of letter-writing correspondence with an old rich woman, and then once he got out, he continued some sort of weird relationship with her,
Yep.
and then after 5 years, he just about manages to convince her to give him all her riches and her boat, but then she dies beforehand, so he just grabs her hand and scrawls her signature on the will.
Yeah, what a plan.
What a plan.
What a genius.
Superman's been away from Earth for 5 years, and that's the best he could do, right?
And the only reason he got out was because apparently Superman didn't turn up for his appeal.
That's right, yeah.
You don't have all the other evidence when he started that earthquake? Is that not enough? Your Honor, he started the earthquake, and that was him!
That's right.
Yeah, he should be in jail. Why are we
Right?
even considering this? Yeah. And speaking of dumb and lame, part of his master plan is, of course, to steal the crystals from the Fortress of Solitude, which, by the way, if you get one of them wet, it just goes insane. That's a very poor design choice.
Especially if you're going to mostly park them in the Arctic.
Yes, that's
a place
right.
full of frozen water. Also, side note, imagine living in a world
Yeah.
where the operating system to your computer takes like 30 seconds to slowly creep out of the ground every time you want to use it. You're like, man, I should really check Twitter.
And it's unlabeled. Where's the back button?
Where is the back button? Exactly.
How do I block
Infuriating.
people on Twitter with this?
Oh, my
You
goodness.
have to throw a crystal into a lake or something. and
That's
it
right.
blocks
And
them.
physically block them. A large landmass will come up between you and them, and then they're blocked.
So his idea is, of course, to grow a new island which will sink a large portion of the US of A and then sell that real estate to people.
To who? All the people in America who are dead?
But also, do you want to live on a weird crystal poisoned island?
That's definitely going to give you radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do.
They're gonna get you for this.
Yeah.
If it's not Superman, someone's gonna shoot you. You don't have your battle armor Lex Luthor suit. And the other thing is, he's like, how are they gonna get me? I've got advanced alien technology. Not really.
You don't even know how it works.
It's also odd some of the things they decide to keep, including bringing Marlon Brando back as Jor-El, despite, I'm pretty confident, being destroyed in a previous movie. I mean, it's incredible that they were able to bring him back, and, you know, it's convincing enough. But it just feels like, why are you doing this?
Again, it's a weird piece of technology. Also, Jor-El's like, is that you, Kal-El? And Lex Luthor's like, yep. It's me.
That's how it works in the 70s as well. It like anticipates his responses. It's like a tape recorder.
Okay, right.
And it just presumes he's going to ask these questions. But if you sit anybody else in that room, they're just like, I don't understand what's this. Where's the back button?
Here's all the secrets, though.
Block Jor-El. And you know what, though? This movie should have opened with the deleted scene, which is fully finished.
I was going to mention the
Yeah.
deleted scene.
There's a few of them we can get to.
So the first deleted scene is him flying to Krypton in a sort of an amazing spaceship made of the crystalline technology
Yeah.
from the Fortress of Solitude, and it looks great. My guess is the reason this was taken out is because it makes the rest of the movie seem even more dull than it already is.
I think it's the movie's worse off for it.
Because it would set up the idea that more space stuff is going to happen.
Yeah.
Instead, as opposed to more landmass stuff.
Well, let's talk about that, because the big kind of confrontation at the end of this is Superman lands on the Kryptonite Island. He gets stabbed. I think it's quite a good scene, and they throw him off the edge, and then he comes back and he lifts the island. But it's not a particularly compelling ending. For one, I'm not really sure how he's able to do it, because there's kryptonite all around him. It's not really established how it affects him and how long it takes and any of that.
Yeah,
but he just does it,
He
doesn't
just believes in himself, and Lois believes in him.
Yeah.
And Lois's new husband, whom he's cucking, also believes in him. When you think about it, it also wouldn't be that difficult for him to pick up like a big tectonic plate and just put it under it like it's a plate.
Like a hot plate.
Like a hot plate, and then just lift it into
or
space
a big
with no ill
pair
effects.
of lead oven mitts.
Exactly, that's
and
right.
Just lift it up, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a very thrilling ending when the greatest superhero the world has ever seen just lifts a big thing at the end. Oh, also at the end, that's not really the end of the movie. The end of the movie is falls back to Earth, and then he's very, 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 very slowly nursed back to health in a hospital. What a big finale.
Huge
and then
finale.
after he's fine.
But I also like that. I like the ending of that he's not alone in the universe. At the very least, he's got a son, which, look, he got him under nefarious circumstances, but look, he has one, doesn't he?
That's right.
Well, actually, there's some stuff in here which is sort of hinted at, which was supposed to be elaborated on in the movie.
Is there, like most Superman movies, a sly reference to Gotham City?
There is, of course, that. Yeah, absolutely. You know, Cal Penn, who plays one of Lex Luthor's henchmen.
And also either Harold or Kumar.
That's right, correct, yes.
And was also a presidential advisor for
He
a
was
while.
for Obama, yeah. He revealed that his character was a disgraced former Daily Planet science reporter who was bribed by Lex Luthor to plant false evidence of Krypton's survival, thus inspiring Superman to leave Earth.
Oh, that would have been interesting to put in.
Yeah. The other thing was Bryan Singer wanted Jude Law as Zod, and after he repeatedly turned down that role,
I've got to be the young Pope or nothing, he said.
In 10 to 12 years. Yes. So he decided to remove him entirely. But I think giving Superman someone to punch, this movie really lacks that.
Yeah.
At least give him a Lex Luthor who's a match.
Battlesuit would be good.
Yeah.
Martian DNA, he's done that recently. That's
I'll
pretty
take that,
exciting.
yeah.
How about this? Instead of any of the stuff we saw, it's 2 hours of Superman flying from outer space to Earth, just gathering up speed, and then just cutting back to Lex Luthor's reaction every time as he knows it's coming. He receives an email that's like, I'm going to punch you so hard from outer space, Lex Luthor. And then it's just him going, oh no. And it's just him hiding in different places in the yacht. Like, oh, is this going to, no, that's not going to work.
Do you want to hear a little bit about this sequel, though?
Yes.
So apparently it would have centered around Brainiac.
Oh.
And it would have revealed that he followed Superman back to Earth from the remnants of Krypton. Also, the bank robber who shot Superman in the eye would have turned out to be John Corbin, a.k.a. Metallo, I believe it's pronounced.
It's not. I shan't correct you.
No, I'm right. People know I'm right, and they'll say I'm right in the comments. Please confirm that I'm right, everybody. Yeah. The other thing is, apparently they were hammering out the idea of maybe Darkseid.
God, there's so many interesting ideas that sound like excellent ideas for sequels that also would have been excellent ideas for the movie.
Oh, yeah.
As it was made at the time.
At the time, absolutely. The thing is, though, there is a sequel to this starring Brandon Routh. I'm, of course, talking about Dylan Dog Dead of Night, the comic book adaptation. Jimmy Olsen's back also.
Is he? What?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, my goodness. The adaptation of the classic Italian crime supernatural comic.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Or whatever it is.
I think it's some sort of spooky Italian comic.
But, of course, he has returned for the new CW crossover.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
He's sort of the Superman Returns version and the Chris Reeve version, but there's a few things that hint at that he's maybe not.
Yeah, there's some clues that he's maybe also the Kingdom Come version of Superman, specifically the logo.
Yeah, or he might become that version at some point. But the other thing is, he mentions how he's previously fought himself, which is something that happened in Superman 3.
Right, okay.
So he might not be the exact Superman Returns version.
Or Superman Returns takes place between Superman 2 and Superman 3, and he places his kid up for adoption. He's never mentioned again.
It's entirely possible. Or
yes,
they couldn't afford to get all the cast back from Superman Returns, so they just say that they're all dead.
That could work too, yeah.
Which is what they did.
Yeah, that's right.
But of course, this is the segment of the video I like to call, oh my god, I can't believe you didn't mention this very specific and inconsequential detail. But here I am doing that right now.
Let's do it. I'm ready to hear about it.
Richard Branson plays an astronaut in this. He's in the Virgin Galactic flight that takes off.
Oh, one of his many famous cameos.
That's
around
right.
Virgin-related properties.
Which they also take out if you're ever watching the airplane version of this.
On a competing airline.
On a competing airline, that's right. Gotham, as you mentioned, is mentioned mentioned in this. And the other thing is there is mention of a birthday clown massacre, which I guess is a loose kind of hint towards the Joker in this universe.
Or the Jester.
Or the Jester.
A different version.
A different universe.
A different universe, yeah.
I
think that's Bruce Wayne, but he's a clown instead or something.
I think it's just the Joker, isn't it?
Oh, okay, maybe.
Good the Joker?
I don't know. Tell us in the comments.
I think it's good the
Please
Joker.
do.
Anyway, I'm curious to know though, does this movie hold up? I would argue no.
I would also argue no.
There is some good things in it.
There is great.
And I think Brandon Routh is still good as Superman.
But I don't think it's worth watching this movie in its entirety to prove that he's good in this. Just take our word for it.
Yeah. Anyways, this has been Caravan of Garbage. We do this every week, and there's videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday if you do want to subscribe. Also, this might be interesting. Here's a hint towards next week's episode. Just a bloody little hint, mate. If you've got a suggestion, we'd love to hear it, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Put it below.
Is there an even worse Superman movie we should watch?
That's a really good question. Arguably, yes, but...
It's on the razor's edge, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Also, of course, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we talk movies and comics and TV shows. That comes out every Monday morning. That's links below, though. Also, I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies on Twitter.
Oh, I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
Thanks for watching this video.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye. This is just... Let's do some bonus stuff for the people doing the audio.
Okay.
The audio edition.
I'm ready. You start.